Want to keep up with the latest LEGO Maker 96.1 videos? Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. Hello everyone, LEGO Maker 96.1 here with another video. And welcome back to another On This Day in History. It was on this day in history, on May 31st of 1864, the Battle of Cold Harbor was underway. Now the battle lasted from May to June 12th of 1864. Now all this was part of a campaign to get the Confederate capital, Richmond, Virginia. Now by that time, Ulysses S. Grant, who was one of my favorite Civil War generals, by the way, he took command of all Union forces with the rank of Lieutenant General, a rank that was previously held by George Washington. It was there that he put Meade back in command of the Army of Potomac, and he gave Meade these simple instructions. Lee's army is your objective. Wherever Lee goes, there you will go also. Now, it was also in this fight, however, that we're introduced to heavy artillery regiments. Now, there were these guys in particular that were fashioned in artillery, but they have infantry equipment. They usually help out on parade grounds and guarded the forts in and around Washington and many other cities. But these guys were called up to the fight because many of the infantry guys in particular, they were running low on men. What I mean, the North has a lot of men, number one, but many of the Northern guys in particular were captured by Confederate troops and sent to Confederate prison camps. And many such regiments in particular that were participating in this battle were men of the 2nd Connecticut Heavy Artillery and the 8th New York Heavy Artillery. Now, if you've seen Civil War Combat on the History Channel, and done by A&E, these guys did fight in that battle. Now, at that time, the 2nd Connecticut was under the command of Colonel Elijah Kellogg, who was killed in action in that battle. They were attacking Confederates who were heavily entrenched in that battle. What I mean by entrenched means that they dug like a ditch with earthworks that are like up to their chest, and they put a headlog over their heads to protect them from enemy fire. So in that case, when they stood up the fire, the earth is down here, and the wood is right above them, which would give them complete and total coverage. Now, if you visit the battlefield today, you could see remnants of those entrenchments. Now, as for that scene where Upton was at the battle, that would be Brigadier General Henry Upton, not Haley Upton from Chicago PD. Well, I did look up Henry Upton, and it says on June 1st of 1864, Upton's 2nd Brigade, to which he was part of the 6th Corps, by the way, was engaged at Cold Harbor, to which his units suffered some heavy losses. This is according to Wikipedia. So, yeah, this confirms that Upton was there at Cold Harbor. Now, I don't know if he helped rally his men. And now, what I'm referring to is the scene where he rallied some of the 2nd Connecticut men by taking a musket from a fleeing soldier. He stood behind a tree being handed musket after musket, firing non-stop at the Confederates and shouting, "Men of Connecticut, stand by me. We must hold this line." Oh, they did. Now, the 2nd Connecticut, they did suffer heavy losses, but they would never have those type of numbers again. And they held that position for more than 36 hours. And that is crazy. Now, another such heavy artillery regiment was the 8th New York. Now, these guys were under the command of Colonel Porter, Colonel Peter Augustus Porter. Now, in 1861, while a member of the New York legislature, he was nominated for to be Secretary of State, but instead he chose to raise a regiment. And that regiment he raised was the 129th New York Infantry. Now, in 1863, he became a colonel, a commission of a colonel of the 8th New York Heavy Artillery. And these guys were sent up to the front line and took part of the losses by the Union and Army. Now, while leading his men forward into the fight, Porter himself was wounded, first in the neck, and he fell with 6 bullets. Now, it was there that one sergeant of that regiment and some other guys managed to rescue the fallen colonel's body, which was lying on the field in front of them. And that sergeant was none other than Leroy Williams. He was a sergeant of the 8th New York Heavy Artillery. And for his actions, he was given the rank of first lieutenant and a Congressional Medal of Honor. Now, he did this under the cover of darkness. Now, the citation for that Medal of Honor read, voluntarily exposed himself to the fire of the enemy, these sharpshooters, and located the body of his colonel, who was killed closely to the enemy lines. Under the cover of darkness, with 4 companions, he recovered the body and brought it within the Union lines, having approached within a few feet of the Confederate pickets, as while he was engaged. Now, if you remember that scene in Civil War Combat, they fastened a rope around the colonel's sword belt while the other man waited further back. Now, he was forced to lie by the side of his dead colonel for several hours, simulating death to escape the attention of a rebel officer. Now, that action alone awarded him with the Medal of Honor. That was real. Talk about real bravado there. Now, as for the those that were engaged at Cold Harbor, the strength of the Union Army was between 108,000 to 117,000 in men. The Confederates, they have 90, 50, I'm sorry, they have 59,000 to 62,000 men. And of the casualties, this is according to Wikipedia, the Union suffered 1,845 dead, 9,077 wounded, and 1,816 missing. That's 108,016 captured or missing. The total of that was 12,738. Now, while the Confederates, they lost 788 dead, 3,376 wounded, and 1,123 captured or missing. Now, that total was 5,282 and 87 losses. But on American Battlefield Trust, which I'm a member of, the Union casualties were 12,738, which was a less. They were down one less as guy. And the Confederates were 4,597. Bring that total to 17,333 deaths total. Now, it was one of the bloodiest battles was at that time. Now, again, why? To get the Confederate capital, Richmond. But before all that, there was Spotsylvania, which was a lot of intense fighting there, but that ended in a Confederate victory. And speaking of a Confederate victory, Cold Harbor itself was a Confederate victory. Now, were there a lot more fighting during that time? Well, there was, but over time, the Union troops were dug in, Confederate troops were dug in, and no one was fighting at that time. I mean, right between no man's land, there was the dead, the dying, and the wounded. While all that, and they had to avoid sharpshooters. Now, infantrymen on both sides, they hated sharpshooters. Any sudden movements, boom, you're dead. Jeez, try telling that to Sharp. But however, there was, I don't know if this is true or not, but I believe there was like a truce where men on both sides like talked and chatted as if they were old friends, and took the time to bury the dead and tend to the wounded. But still, it was some linear moment. Now, on June 12th, the battle ended, but it ended in a Confederate victory. But did the Union give up? No. They still went on, and they're still fighting to take the Confederate capital of Richmond, Virginia. Now, I myself have never been to Cold Harbor. I've been to Virginia, but not anywhere near any Civil War sites. Well, will I do that? Maybe. But I gotta save up a lot of this. But yeah. With that said, I'd like to give a moment of silence for our brave Union men who fought and died and were captured in that battle. And a moment of silence for our Confederate fallen. Well, that was fun. And, yeah. I guess that's it for this video. And don't worry, there'll be more videos coming along the way. I just have been a bit preoccupied at the moment with a lot of things. And so, don't worry. There will be more videos coming. I'm just busy with a lot of projects because I'm working on besides making videos. So, yeah, there's that. But with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like this video and want to see more like this and many other videos that I've done on my channel, please feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell notifications so that way you can be notified when I upload the next video. And as always, this is LEGO Mega 96 1 signing off.